And now get ready for part 2 of our annual Halloween Ghost Story Slam, recorded live at the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles, California. Enjoy. Nikki, come on up.
Nikki, come on up.
Woo!
Hello.
Hi. This is in my comfort zone, so. Yeah, my name's Nikki. I'm from Toronto. Go Jays. We just won.
Oh.
I know. Making friends. Yeah. I lived in a haunted house. I lived in a haunted house after art school. And I never believed in ghosts. I was an avid skeptic. I thought it was silly until it wasn't. So me and 3 other girls went to film school together, photography school. And we moved to Toronto and thought it was gonna be the coolest thing ever. We got this super awesome old century home for $1,200, and there were 6 bedrooms. So we were paying $130 some months, because depending on who lived there at the time. And all my roommates were very into that stuff, they were very, spiritual. I thought it was kind of adorable. And they were always like, the house is haunted, oh, it's just the ghost, Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first night there, me and my friend decided to just pack whatever could fit in my Ford Escort. That's what I had. And I think we literally put 2 mattresses on the top of the car and just stayed the night with nothing but those. And I was dating a guy, and we slept on the mattress in the room I claimed at the top of the stairs. And my roommate, Sarah, slept in her room. And in the middle of the night, I was kind of ripped out of a deep sleep, because it felt like my legs were in a headlock and my feet were being tickled violently.
Oh,
and
so
I sat up, and I was almost about to yell at my boyfriend for doing this. I was like, what the and he was just dead asleep. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. So the next morning, me, boyfriend, and roommate went for breakfast, and we were just kind of how was your sleep? And she's like, I didn't sleep. Something was, twirling my hair all night. And I was like, and then I remembered, I didn't even bring up the foot thing. I was like, you fucking know what? Something was tickling the bottom of my feet. And we're like, huh, strange. So anyway, that sets it up. But the rest of the roommates moved in. And yeah, I kind of forgot about the ghost stuff, but things would go missing, things would move. We eventually got a cat. The cat would be tormented and terrorized. I'd come home from work and it would be locked in the basement. And, I'd open the basement door and it would, burst out. There'd be music blaring downstairs, and I'd go downstairs again, ready to yell at someone. I'm so angry. Yell at someone, and there was no one there. So things like this. And then eventually, undeniable things would happen. Me and the roommates would be all in the common area. There's nobody upstairs, and we would hear something run the length of the house. And they would all look at me, and they would be like, see? And I'm like, yeah, okay. That's fucking weird. And so one of my roommates' moms was a psychic. And I guess that they kind of collectively, like a group of mean girls, were like, don't tell Nikki about the ghost stuff because she can't handle it. And it's actually true. Like, I think that I was like, I think I call myself a ghost denier. Like, I was just like, I couldn't handle it. It was too scary. So they collectively just decided to like kind of leave me out of it. So one day, you know, I came home from something, and there was a full-on reading going on. Like, there was a group of people in our house. The roommates were there. There were two guys in like long black outfits. And I'm just like, what's happening? And they're like, oh, the house is getting cleansed, and we just did the basement, and they found that there's a very angry spirit that like fucking hates us downstairs. And I'm like, cool, like amazing. And so me and my boyfriend were just like watching the show. We're like, this is kind of ridiculous. And I'm still like, not really buying into it 100%. And so the group kind of goes upstairs to the main or the top level, and I can, you know, me and my boyfriend kind of like follow the pack, and the guy, there's someone who's doing the reading, and there's someone who's doing like the blessing, and the one guy who's doing the reading is like, you know, whose room is this? And the group is up the stairs, and they're like, oh, it's Nikki's. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go upstairs. And so I make my way to the front of the crowd, and he's like, do you mind if we go in together? And I'm like, sure. And so I go in, and, you know, he's like, I'm gonna tell you something that's like weird, and let's pretend for a second that you believe in this stuff. And I'm like, okay. He's like, there's something, and there's two things in this house. And there's the thing in the basement that is just angry, and it doesn't like you guys. I'm like, okay. He's like, there's something upstairs that lives in your room, and it recognizes you because you share a space. And I'm like, okay. He's like, and it's, you know, like an old house. It's like the middle of summer, so it's hot. So I have two upright fans like pointed at my bed. I'm 19 at the time, by the way. This is a while ago. This is a couple years ago.
Last year.
It's like 6
Earlier
months ago.
this year.
Can I get a ride home?
And so he asked me, he's like, can you come and sit on the foot of your bed? She's sitting on the floor in front of us. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, now, you know, humor me. Look to her and tell her this isn't her room anymore and she has to go. And I'm like, this isn't your room, you have to go. And he's like, just like try a little harder. just be better. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, this is my room. This isn't your room. You can't be in here anymore. And just as I say that, my fan, I shit you not, it's 2 feet away from us on the bed. It just goes and slaps down in front of us and like breaks. And the group of friends that were on the stairs outside of my door they're running. They're like running down the stairs. And I'm like gobsmacked. I'm like, now what? I'm like, I have to sleep in this room. And he's like, well, that should have worked, you know. I'm like, okay. So he's like, that seemed to do something. So, you know, if it, you know, essentially like, if it doesn't work, try it again in a couple days, sort of thing. And I'm like, okay. So one of my roommates was very kind and was like, we can switch rooms. And so I actually switched rooms with her, which is amazing. But, you know, over the years, 2 more years we were there, everything just kind of fell apart. Like, people just sort of, I don't know, changed. The relationships just soured. People moved in, and So I had a chat about this story, and I was like, yeah, like, I had a friend move into the basement. And Daniel's like, you moved a friend into the basement? And I'm like, yeah, it was like my ex-boyfriend. He's like, you moved your ex-boyfriend into the haunted basement? And I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. And he's like, wow. And I'm like, whoa. And so since that call, I've been spiraling. And I'm like, am I a terrible person? Anyway, maybe. Jury's out. But anyway, we called him. And he was like, you let me live in a haunted basement? I'm like, yes.
No, wait, when is the last time you'd spoken to him?
We talk. We do talk.
You do talk.
Yeah,
okay,
we're
yeah.
cool. We're cool.
Okay.
He does like sound design for me and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those undeniable things that has always stuck with me, and I don't think I've told my best friend Danielle this, but I actually I don't think that she ever left me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. And the person that was in the house doing the reading warned me about it.
Really?
Yeah. So.
What
yeah.
did she tell you?
Well, he told me and the roommates essentially what happened to her, and it was pretty dark. Like he just sort of explained that people don't have to necessarily die to leave their spirits behind. He's like, people can have such bad trauma in a space that their energy almost plays like a recording over and over and over again, which he sort of said, he's like, I think that's what this is. And I think that she's not alive anymore and she could attach herself to someone. I'm like, okay.
And you switched rooms and she's still stuck with you.
I don't know. You tell me.
Like, do you think she's still with you now?
I don't know. I kind of have been told by, I think I've been to like 2 or 3 psychics. I've been told that there's someone with me. And I don't know if it's her, and I don't know. But I've been told that I have like a guardian angel.
Do you feel someone?
Sometimes.
What does that feel like?
I think now that I'm older, it feels like calming. But I think before, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I did not know this. Like, has there ever been an instance where, have you ever had like an experience? I know that you're still like kind of in the denial stage, but you know that you've had where you would like kind of remember that the psychic had told you that there could be an attachment. Like, have you ever had an occurrence where you're like, oh, maybe that's the little girl?
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I like always think about it. Like I always think, I'm like, maybe that's her. I don't
Like
know.
if you hear something or...
Do you know her name?
No.
But he knew the story of her
Yeah.
experience in the house, but it's just telepathically.
I don't know. I try and like think about that stuff, but I don't know. I don't really. I haven't given her a name. Because then it's real, and then it's scary.
Have you ever tried to communicate with her?
No, I haven't. But I have wanted people to maybe try and do that.
Whoa, tonight's the night.
Can I make
I'll leave
Can I
before that.
propose something?
Yeah.
So I sometimes do investigations with friends, and the way that we do it is the opposite of the Discovery Plus method,
Yeah.
which is, they come like barreling in with like weaponry, and
You don't
we
just
just
scream at your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on out, you pussy!
Show yourself!
I love it so much.
I watch it.
Love it.
But do you
it
watch
makes
it?
me laugh so
I watch
yeah,
it.
I watch
I
every
watch it.
episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it that way though, right?
So what we do is we actually do the opposite. We just spend a little time being very quiet. Should we maybe just take 60 seconds of total silence and invite your friend to
Right
give
now?
us a sign that she's here with us?
Oh my God.
I made Danielle promise me that nothing would attach itself to me.
It's already attached.
Well, I wasn't, yeah,
Don't worry.
I wasn't there the first time.
What do you think? You want to try
Oh,
it?
yeah, sure. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
All right. Who's going to keep time?
Does anybody have an iPhone?
All right. So we're all just going to be, just for 60 seconds, we're just going to be very, very quiet and meditative, and just we're inviting Nikki's spirit to just indicate that she's here with us in some way. Okay. Ready?
Was that the sign?
Was that the time or was that the sign?
Result
Yeah.
I was hoping for.
Yeah. All right. Well, we gave it a shot. Yeah. It would have been so cool if she did. Yeah.
Well, we didn't really ask for, did we ask?
Well, I think it was pretty clear.
It was pretty
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
It was
pretty
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Nikki, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tess, come on up.
My body is a cave.
I could tell just by looking at the videos, like, I'm gonna adjust this shit out of that.
Dancing with the one I love.
Okay, hi, I'm Tess. Okay, so I was born here in LA to a very stereotypical giant Filipino family. My mom, also Catholic. My mom is one of 11 children, so yeah, a lot, but stereotypical again. So yeah, most of my mom's siblings moved out here to raise their kids. And it was really great growing up. We had a bunch of aunts and uncles, a lot of cousins, and it was really crazy and wonderful. They also, my mom's generation, kind of didn't really encourage us to be very Filipino. It was a weird time. It was like a lot of internalized racism and just regular racism. And they really wanted to assimilate, and we weren't taught the language. We weren't really exposed to a lot of the food. It was just kind of fucked up. But the one thing that I think that they did kind of share with us that they just couldn't help was ghost stories. Like, I think that a lot of communities of color kind of tell ghost stories like fairy tales. It's really fucked up. Like, like, you should not tell kids scary stories about ghosts that touch your ankles in the middle of the night. Yeah, an actual thing. The person in my family who kind of shared the most ghost stories with me was my aunt, my mom's oldest sister, Ging. And yeah, she told me the ankle story. Essentially, this is why I never sleep with my feet outside of the blanket. She said that my uncle and his new wife, they were sleeping, and they each thought that someone had put their cold feet on the other one, and they looked down, and the ghost of their housekeeper who had died previously was holding onto their ankles. Yeah, super messed up. I was like 5 when I heard that. So yeah, I a lot of really messed up stuff. But yes, my Aunt Gang told me the scariest stories. And she also, when my grandmother died, became the matriarch of the family. She planned all the get-togethers. She just really kept the family together. And she told me the scariest stories. But back then, they were just stories. And I still kind of had this like disconnect with my culture. This was really apparent when my parents decided to move me and my little brother to the Philippines when I was almost 12. Yeah, so my brother and I and my parents are living in the Philippines, and it's really hard. It's like a really big culture shock. And again, I had no connection. I didn't speak the language. I was not familiar with the food. It was just a really difficult thing. And it took me a while to find friends, you know? And after a few years, my brother and I had kind of sorted to find our people, and we were hanging out with a bunch of neighbors. And a bunch of us kids, like a dozen of us, were walking around our little village, and someone thinks it'll be a good idea for this night for us to play the Ouija board. Great, classic kids activity. Or a version of the Ouija board. So essentially, if you don't have one in the Philippines or wherever, I will not teach you how to do it, but it's this game called the Spirit of the Coin. And what you do is you take a piece of paper and you write the alphabet on it, and you write yes or no, and you write heaven or hell, and then a home base, and you take a coin out of your pocket, and that's your piece. So no magnets, no Hasbro, no nothing, it's just a coin. So we take this little coin, and we go to play at my friend's house. And again, we're kids, so we go to the house where she's like, oh, my mom's not home, no one's home, let's go play. So we go, and again, because it's a real adult house and it's not IKEA furniture, it's like this dining table that seats like 8 people. It's like a big Spanish antique table. And all 12 of us kind of gather around this game. And there's one rule. And the rule is that you cannot take your finger off of the coin without asking for permission. So we go to play this game. And I had played this game a couple times before, and it always worked. It was never super scary, but the thing moves, and you're like, okay, that's kind of messed up, but okay, move on with your life. This night was different. So essentially what we did was 5 of us had our fingers on this little coin, and it's flying across this board. And this is the first time that I had played, and the spirit said that she was from hell. She said she was murdered. She gave her name. It was so scary. Oh my God. Yeah, it was really messed up. And we didn't know what to do. We're just playing this game. And one by one, my friends asked to take their fingers off the coin. So someone asks to take their finger off, she says yes, they take it off. Someone asks to take their finger off, she says yes, they take it off. And then I ask to take my finger off, and she says no.
Oh my God.
So I am the only one with my finger on this coin, and I'm barely touching it. Like you always think someone's pushing it, right? Someone's pushing the Ouija board thing, someone is messing with it. I am barely touching this coin, and it's moving so fast I can barely keep up. And I know the rules, so I'm like, don't take your finger off the coin. So we're playing, and we don't know what to do. I'm literally stuck. And someone in the room thinks it'll be funny or just wants to get out of this game, but he switches the lights off as a joke.
Hilarious.
So funny. You're so funny.
So funny.
Great prank. So I take my finger off the coin. I don't know what happened, but I took my finger off. And this table, which again seats like 8 people, comes up off of the ground and shakes so violently that I'm trying to push it down. I don't know why I'm trying to fight this demon, but I'm like, I got it. So I'm trying to push it down. My little brother, who was in the room, looked under the table. He said he saw no feet. So it just was insane, and we were there for way too long. I'm trying to push the table. Finally realized we're like, we should just leave. So we all run outside of the house and then never go back again, except for my friend who lives there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, not a privilege that she has. So she said that after that, the lights would turn on and off, things would move, oh, wow. She would hear footsteps when no one was there. And then years later, her brother actually ended up taking his life in that house.
No.
Yeah. So I never walked past that house again. I was just like, oh, there's another way. We'll just go someplace else. So never went back to that house. I moved back here, and as far as I can go. Not because of that, but maybe subconsciously. But yeah, it's weird. Because I had that experience, it sort of is the thing that makes me feel the most Filipino. You know, I have such a connection to my culture that I feel super lucky to have. And a few years ago, my aunt passed away, And I've kind of taken over planning all the get-togethers. I also am doing this thing where all of my mom's remaining siblings, I'm sitting them down for interviews, and I just I bring a camera. Yeah.
That's really a great
You know, and I kind of ask them the same things. I ask them what it was like to grow up in the Philippines, what it was like to immigrate here, and then I also always ask them if they've ever seen a ghost. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
I did an episode on Filipino folklore.
You did.
And I did. And you guys are crazy.
We're nuts. Yeah. I mean,
is
there's
scary.
a lot.
Like,
It's
it is scary. There is little fairies.
Oh, yeah.
They're called duende. I'm sure you've heard of it.
My aunt saw one.
I'm sure.
She's like, I saw it, and I asked her, I was like, what were they wearing? You know, like, I want to know, are they in jeans? Yeah. She was like, oh, no, it's like potato sacks. Like, they're in brown
there's
clothing.
and apparently there's so many different versions of them as well.
The one that she saw had pointy ears.
Oh my God.
And I asked her, I was like, how small is it? Like, is it like a Barbie doll?
Yeah.
And she looked around and she saw my nephew, who was like 3 years old. And she was like that.
That's,
Oh my God.
That's scarier.
that's big.
That's big.
Is that even a fairy? Is that
That's a big ass fairy.
It was big. And yeah, they're just like really mischievous. If anything goes missing, it's them. They're just kind of like,
It's like insane.
it's insane. There was also like a giant, like we have these things called capres.
Capre.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I do.
So they live in trees and they smoke cigars.
They sound
They're
cool.
dope.
They're kind of badass though.
They are kind
Yeah.
of. Then their cigar smoke will like confuse you. But my aunt told me the story about how she remembers one of their, like we have big nanny culture, and one of the nannies was holding my mom's sister in the street, yelling at the tree, saying, "You can't have her. You can't have her."
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you tell your aunt about this experience you
Yeah.
had?
Yeah.
Did she have any like ideas of just like, well, you opened up hell?
They were basically like, "Don't ever play that." And I was like, "No, I
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
Listen, don't ever play that again.
Don't ever play the Ouija board ever. It is so real."
No.
But with the duende, you have to ask permission to go. I think you say tabi tabi po.
Tabi tabi po. You're
Tabi
right.
tabi po, and then you're able to walk by them. So I think it's
Yeah.
a real cool parallel that you had to ask permission to take your finger off.
Yeah, and I didn't get it.
You did not.
Yeah.
You were denied.
She was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Apparently, with the capre as well, when you're if you encounter one, you're supposed to take your shirt off and turn it inside out, and then you're good.
That's the cigar smoking one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, you better take your shirt off.
Yeah, he's just like,
The only way to get rid of me is if you take your shirt off.
Take your shirt off.
yeah, he's just a large creep.
Just sitting in a tree. You know?
It's either a capre or a really big pervert.
Right. Just a giant islander.
I'm a mythical creature. Take your shirt off.
Tess, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Becky, come on up.
Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. Though grown-ups might look at him with fright, the children all love him so. He always says hello, and he's really glad to meet you.
We'll see how you do.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm actually telling a story of my father's, and it definitely influenced my belief in the paranormal. So, without further ado. So, my dad grew up with, it was him and his 2 older sisters. And they grew up, the year that this story is set is 1980, so we're going way back, in a little town in Connecticut. So his eldest sister really took care of him the most. Her name was also Becky. So before my dad's sister Becky died, he never sleptwalked. He grew up in an 18th century house. It had sloped floorboards, low ceilings, and a barn that stood at the top of the hill. But it was as if the barn was watching. People said the house had charm, but it never felt right to him. It felt heavy, like it held something too old and too aware. Even as a kid, he kind of sensed it, the stillness, the weight. As I said, Becky was the eldest of them, and she was just the kindest soul. She would always kind of bring the light and the joy in the house. She baked peanut butter cookies with Hershey Kisses in the middle, and she always let him have the first batch. She took him trick-or-treating in the rich neighborhoods where they gave the full-size candy bars. We love the bougie people of Connecticut. Holidays were her thing. She would always be decorating and sort of being the real adult in the house. She once told him tuna casserole was Batman casserole, so he ate it every time. When a kid made fun of him, she took him out of school after, and they built a snowman, and they pelted it to snowballs until he was laughing again. She just sort of knew how to fix every situation and put everyone else first. She sang to the radio, off key, too loud, windows open. Let's think like a little bit of the Eagles. She didn't care who heard. She cried with him on the couch the night that their cat died. It wasn't long before she would die. She sat beside him, arms around him, and it was kind of like she kind of knew that everything was about to get a lot more intense. His middle sister, Jill, she was 6 years older than my dad. She was kind of a wild child, sort of always out with friends, not really wanting to do the whole bonding thing, but she was really close to Becky, and Becky sort of saw what Jill could be and would really try to help her focus and be herself. They were different, but they were close. When Becky died, Jill also lost more than a sister. She lost the one person that really believed in her. His mom was lively, funny, and just the silliest person. But most of the time, it felt like she was one of the teenagers, like the cool girl in school. She wasn't really a parent. And same goes with, well, not exactly same, but goes to my grandfather. He was very devoted to his job and would kind of throw himself at it and distance himself from the family. He was every now and then really funny, but again, not a parent. Becky was the glue, and she held all of that chaos together. When she died, everything fell apart. It was a warm, rainy day in June, and she got in a car accident. My father was at the doorsteps when the police came to tell the family that she had passed. He was 10 years old at the time. His mom let out a primal scream. His father fell onto his knees, and my dad just sort of disappeared, and now the house could really have him. He was left to raise himself. The first time he woke up, not where he had actually fallen asleep, he was sitting in the far corner of a room facing the shadows. He didn't feel cold, but he felt watched. Then he heard it, breathing. And in the corner, he could just make out the shape of something tall and dark. He ran. He flew down the narrow attic stairs and into his mother's room. She was already awake and said, "What were you doing up there?" All he could tell her was he didn't know. She walked him back to his room, and like a lot of families at the time, they never spoke about it again. After that, he would never look at the attic window. He would even almost get hit by cars trying to not look at the attic, because every time he did, he would see this tall, not quite human, shadowy figure watching him, waiting to take its time. It was not Becky, never Becky. The second time was different, and this one was really fucked up. There had been a strange energy in the house that night, and it would happen time to time. There's a lot of crazy stuff that would go on in the house. The floorboards were creaking above him. He kind of lived like right under the attic. The air was heavy with something that felt like dread. He forced himself to sleep, as you do when you live in a haunted house. When he woke up, he was curled up into a ball in the corner just under the stairs to the attic. The light in the hallway flickered from one of those old ceiling fans, and it was just buzzing faintly, casting a weak glow that didn't reach the bottom step. Everything below him was swallowed in dark, and he was foggy. He had no idea how he ended up there. My grandmother found him again. She said it was different this time because he didn't respond when she talked to him. It was like something left his body and he was just hollow. Then he finally did respond and he said, "Becky told me to wait here." It disturbed her, not just because of what he said, but it wasn't really him at that time. Becky had been my grandmother's best friend, and she also really struggled getting through this time. I mean, her daughter was her anchor, and she's gone, and she was trying to figure out how to really properly parent, but who really gives you a guidebook on parenting 101 in a haunted house? It's not a Beetlejuice movie. The third time it happened, he was at his friend Matt's house, just behind their property. And, you know, if you guys haven't been to Connecticut, it's all these little small towns and everything's really spread out, especially back then. It was an October night. It was cool and clear. He went to play wiffle ball with his friends. They were doing whatever, I guess, like, not quite middle schoolers, but like elementary school kids would do. They were playing Atari too late into the night. Matt's mom made spaghetti and meatballs, and the meatballs were of the size he always said of his fist. That night, something was asked of him that he hadn't really processed. His friend Chris asked him, "How are you doing with Becky? And do you ever think of her?" And all my dad could just say was, "Yeah." And then they went to sleep. Then he woke up, and he wasn't in the house anymore. He had gotten out. He was in the field in the wheat. Sun's not quite out, so it's still like early morning. And he looks up, and the thing he had kind of seen in the attic window was standing watching him in the wheat. Like it could finally get its grasp on him. He was not protected. So he starts running, and it's almost like this shadowy figure. It's not really human again. It's just kind of hovering behind him, slowly, like it knows it can get to him. He bolts it, though, back to Matt's house, and he's banging on the door, and Matt's dad wakes up, and he's like, "What the hell? It's 3 a.m. What are you doing up right now?" But he looks at my dad, and he can just kind of tell this kid is really messed up right now, and this is not how he usually acts. So they both, and I guess it was just parents at the time, they didn't know how to talk to kids. Thank God for therapy now. But he just took my dad back to his house, and they never spoke about it again. Eventually, my dad and his family would build a house across the town, and they would leave that old, scary house. My dad always felt like he had left something behind by moving, but it still kind of follows him today. You know, he had to learn how to rebuild life, but I guess when a house is that dark and it really picks who it's going after, and when you're all alone like that, it really gets to manipulate you a little more. So my dad moved on, and eventually he met my mom, and they had my brother and I, and he kind of got to live this normal life. But I am always so thankful that he shared his stories with me. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that enough, like the stories that were passed on by our parents. Because my dad is the reason that for my whole identity with all things horror, scary stuff, I grew up going on ghost tours, watching horror movies, and I'm thankful for it. But I think what's really special is I kind of feel bonded in a way to the house too, but in a different light. I was named after the only joy that was left in the house, my Aunt Becky. And before that, you know, the whole family still had a hard time talking about her, and my grandma would go up to people with a picture in her wallet of my aunt and be like, oh, my daughter died 20 years ago, or like however long. And finally, when I was born, it was kind of like peace was there again, and she stopped going up to people with the photo. And I was very well connected to Becky, but yeah, that's my story.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. So your dad, I'm really taken back by this story. So your father woke up he said he woke up in a field.
Yeah.
And had it. That's insane. And what do you personally know about your Aunt Becky? Like, can you draw parallels from yourself to her at all?
It is really weird. It's kind of funny. I'm wearing heels tonight, but I'm actually only like 5'1". But my Aunt Becky, like, I grew up, and I mean, I love her. One of my earliest memories, and I always say it was my first memory, was my grandma sitting down with me and telling me that I had an angel. And I was like, well, what's an angel? And like, who's my angel? And she's like, my daughter, Becky. So it wasn't like they tried to, it was interesting, the family changed, and they weren't really like trying to hide the fact that they went through this trauma, they went through this grief. It was like this new, beautiful thing. So I always felt like very dutifully watched and taken care of. But I did grow up looking exactly like her.
Really?
And she was like 5'11". So I grew up always thinking I would be 5'11". And then, of course, I stopped growing in the 7th grade. Yeah, no. They were like, you get everything but that one thing. And I'm like, great, the one thing I really wanted. But yeah, I've always felt connected to her. I mean, I really think the best way we can, and I'm a little spiritual, and I think the best way to like really give grace and harmony to those that have passed is to talk about their stories. So she was just she was an all-American athlete. She was top of her class. She slaved away to try to impress my grandfather. And she was kind of the only kid that he really was connected to. She did everything to make him proud. And when him and my grandma would fight, she would be the one taking care of things. She was the one going to my dad's games growing up. She was just this person that was willing to do anything for anyone. And she was only 19, but she was going to school to be a teacher.
She was 19 when she passed?
She was 19 when she passed. She was in her first semester of college.
Do you have any idea? So the thing in the attic,
Yeah.
That's not Becky.
Okay, so I'm torn. No, that thing is definitely not Becky.
Yeah.
But so there's, and Danielle, we've talked a little bit. There's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. My family was just like, fuck it, we're going to tell everything. So I got stories from my grandma, my dad, my aunt. I didn't really get to hang out a ton with my grandpa, and he was kind of closed off when I was a kid too. So I got a little bit of stories from everyone, though. Everyone had a really odd ghost experience. Like my grandma would hear a baby crying at night not until after my aunt died. all of this stuff happened. And I think it's just darkness can kind of, my view on it is darkness lets itself in when someone has passed. But my family is still friends with the homeowners. I've been to the house. But the homeowners are convinced, they've brought a psychic in that Becky is there as well. But my family doesn't like to think that, because who wants to say, like, she's a ghost? You know?
Was the thing in the attic, is that also
Yes,
still there?
Yeah.
So
it's there.
the current owners
Yeah.
feel that there are two spirits in the house?
There's many spirits in this house. It used to be used as a funeral home.
Oh my God.
I mean, the house is like
Minor
freaking
detail.
5 million
And
years
by the
old.
way, it was a funeral home.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
That concludes part 2 of our annual Ghost Story Slam. Be sure to tune in next week for the thrilling conclusion.